We have breaking news this morning. Divers preparing to go into the Columbia River in search of a car missing for more than 60 years.
The Hood River Sheriff's Office recently receiving a tip that car has been found and could hold clues to a decades-old cold case. KOIN 6 anchor Jeff Gianola joins us live in Cascade Locks this morning. Now, Jeff, this case comes from 1958. The Martin family, their sudden disappearance. You've been following it for decades as well.
Live from Cascade Locks. This whole area has been blocked off as a crime scene from the Hood River Sheriff's Department right now. There's an incident command post set up right over my right-hand shoulder down there towards the front of the locks. And that's where a diver discovered a vehicle that matches the description of the Martin family car, the family of 5 that disappeared on December 7th, 1958, when they went for a drive up the gorge. The Sheriff's Department's convinced that this could be the Martins' car. There are a lot of theories surrounding the Martins' disappearance, and one of them being they met with foul play, another one being this was simply an accident where they rolled into the river at Cascade Locks. Here's a look at some of the theories surrounding the Martin family mystery. When the Martin family went missing, the only clue came from Ken Martin, who told neighbors the family was driving up the gorge to collect Christmas greenery. But within days after they failed to return home, speculation and theories started to emerge on what could have happened to them. A few days after they were reported missing, the Hood River Sheriff discovered tire tracks in the parking lot at Cascade Locks, leading directly into the locks. His theory, Ken Martin accidentally backed up into the water, the family's 1954 Ford station wagon plunging into the frigid river with his wife and 3 daughters. This area has changed a lot in the last 6 decades. Photograph shows an unpaved lot with no barrier to prevent a car from going into the river. To bolster his theory, a gas receipt proved the Martins had purchased gas earlier in the day in Cascade Locks. But despite numerous searches by divers, there was no trace of the Martins' car. Multnomah County Detective Walter Graven was also looking into the disappearance of the Martins. When the search at Cascade Locks turned up empty, he discovered the Martins were seen eating a late lunch at a Hood River cafe. Also seen in the area at the time, 2 former convicts with extensive records. Detective Graven's theory? Well, the Martins might have been abducted, driven by gunpoint to the Dalles. Ken Martin shot and killed. The car, along with Mrs. Martin and their 3 daughters, pushed off a cliff into the Columbia River. Graven bolstered his theory with tire tracks and paint scrapings on a rock. Paint, he said, matched the 1954 Martin Ford station wagon. However, a waitress and some witnesses at the Hood River Cafe, where they claim they saw the Martins eating lunch, also say they saw the Martins head west, back towards Portland.
My grandfather was obsessed with this case.
Greg Graven grew up with the Martin case. His grandfather was Walter Graven. Greg later became the chief of police in Yamhill and has saved his grandfather's notes on the Martin case.
He believes that it was a homicide and that it would be solved when that vehicle is located.
5 months after they disappeared, the bodies of Sue and Virginia Martin were found downriver. 10-year-old Sue Martin's body washed up near the Camas Slough. 12-year-old Virginia Martin's body was found near the Bonneville Dam. The girl's cause of death ruled drownings, but a Multnomah County autopsy technician named Russell Bissett took fingerprints and photographed the body of Virginia Martin. His report on photograph 6 clearly states showing head with hole in the head. Bissett thought it looked like a gunshot, but the medical examiner felt it was just normal decomposition. Other than a poor photocopy, we were unable to find any original photos. Perhaps one of the more puzzling parts of this mystery surrounds this. A few weeks after the Martins vanished, a gun was found near Cascade Locks. Remember, there was no criminal investigation, so the Hood River Sheriff let the man who found the gun keep it. In a 1986 interview, his widow, Bonnie Cox, told us the gun looked like it had been used to beat something. It was damaged and had dried blood on it.
It was completely coated with the dried blood from whatever they had clubbed. They had clubbed something to death, apparently.
The only Martin not missing was son Donald. Don was in the Navy, living back east. He was estranged from his family. A few years earlier, while working at Meyer and Frank in downtown Portland, Donald Martin had stolen about $2,000 worth of sporting goods, including a gun. Tracing the serial number, Detective Graven discovered the bloody gun found near Cascade Locks was the same gun Donald had stolen years earlier. When Donald Martin did return to Portland, he met with Detective Graven. Donald couldn't explain the gun or why his family went missing, but he too suspected foul play, telling Detective Graven, "I know of no one who would murder my folks or no reason for it, but I don't see how it could have been an accident." Detective Graven was operating somewhat on his own with theories and circumstantial evidence. He was told by his superiors to stop his investigation, but the case of the missing Martin family haunted him for the rest of his life.
He indicates in his notebook, "will be solved if I live long enough for the car and bodies to be found."
Walter Graven died in 1988, never solving his case. And you wonder if some of those answers will come to light, if they'll resurface. Once again, I'm reporting from Cascade Locks, where the Hood River Sheriff is launching an investigation. A barge with a crane will be arriving within the next hour to pull a submerged vehicle up from the water that they suspect is the Martin car, which was a 1954 Ford station wagon. This case haunted Detective Graven his entire life. He would often take his family up here on weekends and just come up with theories long after he was retired. So it would be something if the evidence found here today helps solve the case. By the way, Greg Graven, the grandson, is at the command center. He was invited to be here to see what they discovered today. And a little bit later, I'll be walking down there. I also was invited to the command center for all my years of work on this case and some of the information that I have on this case, which includes original police reports and copies of Walter Graven's detective work at that time. So that's the scene right now. One of Oregon's most baffling mysteries could be close, at least a puzzle piece of it could be close to being solved here with the discovery of this submerged vehicle here at Cascade Locks. We'll be reporting throughout the day into the evening on these new developments, which could be a pretty major break in this case. So Emily and Travis, I'll send it back to you guys. But once again, we'll be out here working hard throughout the day as this investigation continues.
All right, Jeff, thanks. And I do want to highlight something that Jeff said there is just how instrumental he has been in following this investigation over these decades. It is not often that a member of the media gets invited back behind the police tape, away from the media staging area to be a part of this recovery mission. So you are going to get an inside look that you will see nowhere else if you stick with us here on Portland CW and KOIN 6 and follow Jeff today.
Yeah, Jeff has put in some serious work on this case over the last almost 3 decades. And with that said, if you have not listened to his podcast about this Martin family mystery, go to KOIN.com. You can find those podcasts. It is so worth the listen. Fantastic journalism.